Hello everybody, this is Robipony here, doing another reading of Five Nights at Pinkies by the Walking Skymon. We are now in Chapter 6, The Joy of Creation. I woke up at noon. What a beautiful day. The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the birds are... Get off my turf! I said, punching the wall near my window, scaring the birds away. I flew over to the pizzeria and hoped that I was early to Applebloom's party. Thankfully, luck was on my side. Hopefully, it would stay with me during the night. "Oh, hey, Jet," Fluttershy said as I walked into the building. It was decorated the same way it was a couple of days ago. I saw Applebloom, her cousin Babs, and two other ponies next to Fluttershy. That's him! Applebloom said, bouncing up and down in a circle around me. "Yep, it's me, Applebloom. I'm here," I said. "Who are those two?" Applebloom jumped up and gave me a quick hug before falling to the ground and running back to the other two ponies. "This is Sweetie Belle," she said, pointing at the white-colored unicorn. I waved, and she waved back. "And this is Scootaloo," she said, pointing at the orange Pegasus. Told them about ya at school, and they thought ya wouldn't come." "What? Why wouldn't I come see little Applebloom on her birthday?" I said. "Well, weren't you the one that caused that thing 5 years ago?" Scootaloo asked. My eyes widened, remembering Aura, her family, and her friends. I was about to burst into tears again when Fluttershy stepped in. "Now hush, Scootaloo. He didn't mean it. It was never intentional. You know that," she said. Scootaloo just lowered her head and said, "Sorry." "It's okay, kid," I said. "It may not have been intentional, but I still caused it," I whispered to Fluttershy. When 4 o'clock rolled around, it was time for Applebloom's party. Every pony stayed next to the stage during it, watching Pinkie and her friends whenever it was time for them to do a comedy skit or something. Me, I stayed in the back, away from the stage, and away from Cloud's Cove. I was still with them all, but I made sure to keep my distance from the animatronics, especially when they came off the stage for one of their routines. "So, how do you like your job? Is it boring?" Sweetie Belle asked. Flashes of each night went through my mind. "Boring? It always keeps me on the edge of my seat," I replied. The 4 fillies I was sitting with stared at me, as if they were deciding whether or not I was being sarcastic or serious, and I just had a very poor sense of entertainment. "So, Jet, ya didn't answer my question. Do ya like your job?" Applebloom asked. I did answer it. I said to ask me after my 5th shift, which is tonight, I said. "Oh yeah," Applebloom said. I looked on the stage at Pinkie, the happy voice, that trustworthy face, that attitude. It was all a fake. I knew what the others didn't. They were monsters, and they would murder me if they got the chance. "What's wrong?" Fluttershy asked. "Huh? What?" I said. "You're being silent. I thought that you'd be a bit more talkative," she said. "I'm just keeping an eye on the clock," I said. It was 5 o'clock. Applebloom's party ends at 7. "Well, it's almost time for the cake. Will you come with me to the kitchen to fetch it?" she said. I nodded and followed her to the kitchen. The kitchen was clean. It was shining almost. It was filled with mini stallions and mares cooking pizzas, making salads, all kinds of stuff. I could tell that they were really into their work, not wanting to mess up. I noticed there were 2 closets in the corner, one that was labeled pantry, while the other simply said, "Keep out." "Where's the cake for Applebloom?" Fluttershy asked. One stallion walked to us, carrying the cake on his back and sliding it onto mine. "Thanks," she said. I walked with Fluttershy back to the stage, carrying the cake and struggling to keep it balanced as all 4 fillies started swarming me. Hunger was in their eyes as they stared at the cake I was holding on my back. I set the cake on the table, and Fluttershy walked over and cut the cake, giving Applebloom a slightly bigger slice than the rest. Fluttershy cut out a piece and held it out to me. No thanks, I said. Oh, come on, you love cake, she said. When was the last time you had cake? She did have me there. I couldn't even remember the last time I had cake. Foost, it was a long time ago. I took the cake and threw the plate away, eating the whole thing in 3 bites. It was a chocolate cake with a mix of apple in it. I should have known. Applebloom just loves apples. I wiped my face and started the animatronics. It's funny how innocent they looked, like they couldn't hurt a fly. But at night was when their true colors were shown. I thought about last night. I came close to dying. I had faith that I could survive this night, so I felt pretty confident. I looked down to Fluttershy, who was watching Pinkie and her friends sing Smile with Applebloom and her friends and cousin. I thought about all the times we'd been together and decided that it was now or never. Time to either nut up or shut up. I walked over to her, knees shaking with each step I took. Hey, Fluttershy, I said. She looked at me in response. Could we go to the, back to talk for a bit? I said. Sure, Jet. She walked to the back of the room, and I took a deep breath. Fluttershy, you know about that new restaurant that's opening tomorrow, I said. She nodded. Well, I, was wondering whether or not you would like to go there with me on opening day, I said. Wait, do you mean like on a date? She asked. I slowly nodded my head. Fluttershy looked at me and smiled and nodded. She hugged me and returned to Applebloom and her friends. I just stood there singing, "We are the champions," in my head. I did it, I said. For the rest of the party, I was in a pretty good mood. Everything was going my way. I even said, "Good evening, ladies," when I walked by Pinkie, her friends, and Rainbow on my way to my little office. I sat back and waited for the message from Flash, only to get a jumbled message of garbage that I couldn't make any sense of at all. It kind of freaked me out, too. I checked Cloud's Cove, cleared. I checked the stage, and my heart fell. While I stared at the already completely empty stage, I heard a deep voice on the phone say, "Soon, they will all know the joy of creation."